My world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say I am what I am.
Let's go back to you're at the Drop Dead twice. What's your association with it? It's a very much a pub that's or a venue, dare I say it, that's on the rise, because I only went there maybe 6 months for the first time, and it's very popular with a certain type of crowd, isn't it?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I was delighted when I got it as my venue, because the show is actually with the Dublin Fringe.
Yeah.
So Drop Dead Twice is a venue with the Dublin Fringe this year, but I was absolutely, it couldn't be more perfect for what I'm trying to do, considering that it's a show about intersectional feminism, and it's about including everybody, it's about diversity, that's what my show is about. So the fact that it was already a venue that welcomes in drag acts, burlesque acts, LGBT, queer nights, things like that.
Yeah.
It was already kind of perfect for that reason, because I've other gigs that I've done there have been things like the Bonbon Rooms. I don't know if you've heard of the Bonbon Rooms, they're great. And those are mainly burlesque, and then they'll throw a bit of a comedy in there and a bit of music in there as well. So it's fantastic when you find out from the Dublin Fringe that your venue is a place that you've seen boobs before. It's brilliant.
It's the first year for it, isn't it? I can't remember any other year that it's been.
No. Yeah. I think the pub is only open about 3 years. Am I wrong? I thought. But they are the name on everybody's lips when it comes to diverse acts and kind of like a cool crowd and everything. Because if you just pop by at any stage, there's someone with blue hair. Okay. Well, there is someone.
The last time I was there was a nun.
Nice.
It was a nun in drag. That's
unreal. It was a person in drag as a nun, I would hope. Yeah.
Singing religious songs as well.
Love it. Big fan.
From
big
Donegal.
fan. Yeah, I've seen a woman strip off, cover herself in, I think it was probably 7-Up or something like that, and then cover herself in Tato.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place that I want to be. Honestly, it really is. Yeah, I love it. So, and the setup that we're gonna have is I suppose I've only started recently referring to myself as queer, and that's because I kind of wanted to be more honest to my actual sexuality. Because I used to just cut corners. I used to just say that I'm straight, because I mainly do the dirt with the man. But I have with women. I do find myself attracted to women often. I kind of and everyone in between. People that don't identify as either, and so on. And so I am proudly trying to kind of out myself as the queer person that I am. And so for that venue to be a part of that year is a really good thing for me. So, and it suits perfectly as well, because we're setting it up like a sitting room. The set is going to look like a living room, so that it's just going to be a party at my gaff kind of thing. So the walls are all like raw brick and so on, exposed brick and everything. So it actually it suits just perfectly.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I had Tony Walsh as a guest about a year ago. We were talking about this, and I said, when I was growing up in Ireland, there were no gay people, there were no lesbians, there were just queers.
Really?
That's all it was.
Yeah.
If you were fitted into certain things, women got away with it slightly easier because, but males who were gay were queer.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
the word has been reclaimed in that regard now, which is an interesting one, isn't it?
Sorry, say again?
I said the word has been reclaimed, because your generation is much more technicolor, whereas ours was black and white.
Yes,
and it was
absolutely. But it was, you see, because it was a slur, and these days I still unfortunately do hear it used as a slur sometimes. But it is good, and I do think that it's for the community. It's not really for me to reclaim. Again, it's not that I don't feel. I'm not trying to perform bi-erasure or queer erasure on myself, but I haven't had to struggle in the same way that a lot of people have had to. I had a very open family. I didn't ever feel that I need to come out. I actually kind of have a problem with the idea that anyone should have to come out. And because why are you so interested in who someone's having sex with? But anyway, to get back to your question. Yeah, I think it's being reclaimed. I think it's generally a good thing. I think at the moment there's a different kind of revolution happening among young LGBT plus people, and that is the acknowledgement that capitalism is kind of taking over it a little bit too much. And so that is that's not even about LGBT plus issues as much as it is about socialism, capitalism and so on. And I think that's very much being recognised. And then that's where the slur is kind of coming back into place, because people have a problem with, as soon as people have a problem with people not being okay with their own revolution, you know, so then you had things like, there was an alternative Pride Parade this year, which I attended, and that was to kind of recognise that trans people aren't being given their rights, and also the Gardaí shouldn't be really involved in the parade in the same way as they are, RT and so on. I mean, like, there's always going to be issues. But I do think I do think that the reclaiming of the word is generally a good thing. I think that it's made it more inclusive. It's made young people feel more involved.
It's very interesting listening to you, because you and I are 2 generations apart, and I feel exactly the same. I never kept bothered coming out with anything. I just went who you were with, and that was that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't necessarily have to go and make a song and dance, but guess who I was with last night?
Yeah.
And I remember I was in a works canteen about 10 years ago, and we were talking about something or other to this guy, and he said, "Did you ever do that?" You know, which was basically about dicks.
Yeah.
And I said, "Of course we did. Everybody in my generation did."
Yeah.
And I'm not joking you. The response was, he immediately went into the office and, "Did you know that he did this?"
Oh my
And
God.
I thought, how bizarre.
Yeah, it is odd.
But interestingly, since you brought it up, trans seems to be the new battleground. That there's still a divide there, and if you go
Absolutely.
to last week, where a certain lead singer who nothing compares to talked about trans people being a virus.
Did
Transgender is a virus, and all they do is spend their time mutilating
Ah,
themselves.
Sinead!
Oh
no! I like Sinead O'Connor, well, not anymore. If she said that, that's absolutely horrific, isn't it? That's fucking horrific.
Yeah, it is,
Jesus,
But
I hadn't heard about that.
No,
sorry.
as I say, she put it out last week.
Poor Sinead, she's had a hard run of it, but that doesn't mean that you should go attacking other people.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has had a hard run of it now, but
And yet 3 years ago she put out a statement saying she was giving all her clothes away to trans people. So what could you say?
I don't even want to look. I can't. I would, of course, I judge anyone that would say something so horrible as that. But like Sinead O'Connor, she's
colourful. That's the only way we can put it.
She's had a colourful life. She's dealing with it colourfully, and I think that there are some. I think that she needs help from some loved ones.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But what do you make of the TERFs? I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it?
I would disagree with the TERFs, of course. I just don't understand the issue, and it's easy for me to say that I don't understand the issue, I suppose. It's easier for me to be all woker than thou and everything. But that's not it. I just don't understand why people can't just let people live. They're not asking you for much, really. At all, except to just be recognised as the person that they are. It's just affirmation.
Unless they're on the rugby team opposite you.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, isn't it? The battlegrounds people pick.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. I don't really understand it. I absolutely would. I would denounce TERFs. I would say that you can't be feminist without including trans women, to be honest.
No, if you start excluding
And trans men.
Yeah. No, it's a funny one, because when I was with Tanny before the legislation came through. And a couple of the people that I knew very well there, all they wanted after the legislation came through was to be able to play golf. And yet the original legislation was going to prohibit them doing that. You know, that's all people wanted to do. It's not.
I know. Well, there are still golf clubs in Ireland that won't allow women in.
There is. Well, the other one I'm dealing with is women's snooker, and there are still women's snooker clubs that won't allow women in. Which is bizarre, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. But look, eventually we have to isolate them, and if you want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think that the trans question, is that a good way to put it? It's very, very important. It's hot on everybody's lips, and I don't mean that in a buzzword kind of way. I think that there's a lot to be said for buzzwords. They are buzzwords for a reason. They mean something. It does get a little bit annoying. I roll my eyes when I have to say words like woke and words like privilege and so on. But they do mean something, and they are important, and words are there for a reason, and they're there to be used. And at the moment it's something on everybody's lips, and I really want to, again, in my show, I really want to draw attention to that, as well as a lot of other things, and kind of acknowledge the fact that I don't really know that much about it, and we really need to have an open conversation about it, so that people can understand it and be brought in and allowed to laugh at things, allowed to laugh at the hypocrisies or the juxtapositions or the ironies or anything like that. and kind of like come out of it having learned something and being allowed to just kind of have a little giggle at it. Because like, I mean, I do in my comedy's very, very heteronormative. I've acknowledged it recently. It's very heteronormative. There's a lot of dick talk. There's a lot of me having sex with men talk and everything. And then recently I had to incorporate a joke where, because my friends afterwards, they would be asking me like, why do you only talk about men on stage? You have sex with women as well. Like, why do you only talk about men on stage? Why is that? So I say, well, I'll level with you now. I do have sex with women as well. It's just that I don't have to talk about them on stage because they're not mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's as simple as it is. But I do, you know, you find yourself having to address these things because I used to have a joke about dick-pics, unsolicited pictures of a willy. And I would ask people, I mean, they're still being sent. There is a certain generation that doesn't know what they are. Thankfully, lucky. But and I have so I have like this whole bit about it, and I go, are there any men in the room? And so I've since then had to address that. It's not necessarily that I don't think that it, like, let's say there's a man in the room and he doesn't happen to have a penis. It's not that I'm disregarding. I'm just saying that I only want to talk to the people in the room that have penises because I'm talking about unsolicited dick pics. And also, I don't think that a trans man. I again, this is another thing that I say on stage. I say, look, I am looking for a cis man with a penis. I ain't no TERF, okay? Trans men are men. But for the purposes of this joke, I am looking for a bad person. So I'm just gonna need one of the cis ones. Exactly. So I kind of have to draw it back in, make it funny. I don't want to be just apologising for myself ever. I want to make it funny, you know. But yeah, it is something that is on everybody's lips. People are ready to kind of like pounce on it. And thankfully, I genuinely do believe this, that it's more the people that are on the wrong side of it that are ready to pounce. They're like, you know, this whole argument that fucking people shouldn't be allowed into certain bathrooms and so on. It's like, fuck off. Are you joking? Like, I mean, women share a bathroom with a man in their own home. So.
Now, one of my great expressions when I want to shock people is I usually say, "What's not to like about a cock and a frock?" And it's just the juxtaposition of the words. Either fine, but together, it's a strange one in that regard.
Well,
but tell me, in the modern world, I always thought I was fairly well informed because of the circles I mixed in. But over the last couple of years, I find myself getting, well, not so much confused, but just not quite grasping, because I keep saying to people, well, what is the difference between polyamorous, pansexual, or bisexual? And I'm never quite getting
would you like me to explain?
Please do. I mean, that's why queer is such a good word, isn't it?
Queer is a great word. It is. She's an umbrella term. She looks after everyone.
It's a generic term that works for everybody.
Well, I mean, do you want me to explain?
No, please
try to explain if you like. I might get it wrong. Apologies to any queer people if they do feel that I've gotten it wrong. Bisexual would mean attracted to both men and women. Okay, I think a lot of the time these days people that are woke will acknowledge that generally these days means pansexual. If they are in that, if they're already fucking around with everyone, they're fucking around with everyone out here, right? So pansexual would mean that the person doesn't need to identify as a man or a woman. That it could be a trans woman, or it could be someone that's non-binary, or it could be someone that's post-op, pre-op, etc. And then polyamorous is a completely different thing. It's not even polyamorous. You could be straight and still polyamorous, because polyamorous is that you would be in a relationship with, or there's different levels of it and different systems of it, I think, and people kind of decide on it themselves. But it means you're either in a relationship with or seeing many different people. So they could.
That's just slutty behaviour, really.
I'm all for it. That's my life. I'm all for it. I love that. Slut is kind of another word that's kind of been taken back as well.
It has, isn't it? Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't think it's reached the level that queer has, because it's still so weaponized, and it really is. It's been weaponized against me more times than I would like to even talk about in the past year, or the past 5 years. And like personally, on a personal level, and so for me, even when it's being reclaimed, so like a friend of mine can be like, hey, so it actually does still hurt me, you know, it's quite like a triggering word, even though she wouldn't mean it that way. She would just mean it, like, she would actually mean it in a nice way, like, hey bitch, you got the ride last night, what's going on, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't think it's been reclaimed in the same way, but I can't wait for the day that like that it is, because like I love being able to openly call myself a slut. I am. I enjoy sex. You're supposed to.
Johnny Walks last week, he was putting up a thing saying that they had discovered there was no such thing as the gay gene.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, how do you explain that I've got the slut gene?
Yeah.
And he said, no, that's not biological. It's acquired behaviour.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I'd say, you know, my mother, right, like I definitely got the flirtations from her, but she wasn't. She like when it comes to the sluttiness, not so much with my mum. Not to be exposing my mother. I mean, I'm sure she has a great time. I hope that she does. Like I definitely get the flirtations from her. So people, you know, people will be like, Jesus Christ, you're so open. I'm like, I didn't lick it off stone. I'll be talking to my mum about something. She said to me the other day, I told her that I fancied someone, right? Yeah. And she goes, Bláithín, be careful now, because you know feelings can get hurt. Yeah. And I went, I'll be alright, don't worry. And she goes, it's not yours that I'm worried about. She's right about it.
That's what your generation talks about, which is as I say, one of the legacies we're happy to leave you.
Yeah.
So tell us, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Is that a pun on the name?
It is. Yeah, it's a pun on the name. I was kind of hoping that, because I don't think blah 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 is a great name for a show, but I think that if people kind of do a double take and they look and they see the accents, it'll draw them in. What is the aim? The name is, look, I again put myself a roll in my eyes at the name, because I'm like, because it's my name. You know, when you have to explain a joke, you're like, because it's my name, and it's blah blah blah, you know. But yeah, that's the name of the show. It is a comedy panel show about intersectional feminism, which is hilarious. That's what we all know.
So presumably you've got guests. Are going to change the guests every night, or what's the situation?
Yeah. 5 nights, 3 different guests every night. So 15 guests overall. So I've got different, and the topic is different every night as well. So topics, we're in the middle of announcing the guests at the moment. So you can keep an eye on the Facebook page for that. It's blah 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 with special guests on Facebook, or you can follow me on @beingblah or at Twitter, @beingblah on Twitter or Instagram. And so the guests will be announced soon, and then the topics will be different things. So we've got sex, sexuality, identity, activism, and being an ally.
So it's going to be relatively spontaneous.
Yeah. It's the show's going to be different every night. There won't be anything that's the same, except maybe a few of my jokes that I might throw in, if you know that kind of thing. If the mood calls for it. I'll do 10-15 minutes of stand-up at the start, and then of my stand-up, because I do want my stand-up to be, I'm a comedian, so I want to be heard. I need the laughter in my veins. And so I'll do that, and then we'll have a little discussion. There's some games as well, and it'll all be very casual, it'll all be very chill. It'll all be about laughing at ourselves, laughing about others, and taking the piss out of each other, and just being mates.
Is there any audience interaction, or is it going to be a bit turgordy, as we say, you know, where you sit down there and look at us and admire us? Or,
so that, we do consider it, okay, but we just knew that in these kind of subjects there might be people that are affected by things that are disproportionately affected by the subject matter of the night, and that they might want to speak for long, or might not feel comfortable to speak at all while somebody else is speaking on their behalf. There are issues that come with leading the audience in, because we only have the hour. I can't believe I've only applied for the hour. I'm so annoyed. If the show goes well, I'd love to make it a little bit of a longer affair. My mother, when I told her that I only had an hour, she goes, "You're not going to be able to do it in that time." I'm like, that's exactly why I'm stressed. So we don't have the time to open it up to questions or anything. We will have a little bit of audience involvement, and I'll leave it at that. It will be good. There's games. I'm going to go off the audience.
You can always start off the show, all men who have a small dick, put your hand up. And then you follow it up by saying, all girlfriends who have a boyfriend with a big small dick. You probably got
God, we see, that's an interesting one recently, for me recently as well, because I used to have a joke. It would be, it was actually part of a dick pic joke, and I used to finish on it. And I haven't found something as good to finish on recently, but I decided to put it aside, because some good friends of mine, I won't name them, but some good friends of mine, when they were talking to me, they were like, "Look, I think that you're such a great feminist and so on, but you do have this blind spot for the small dick thing, and that when you make this joke, there might be men you're making a joke equating people with a small dick to bad people that might send an unsolicited dick pic, right?"
Roots, as we say.
And at first, when someone first said it to me, I was going, "Look, I mean, it's comedy. Like we can't We can't be being careful about the men, like, oh, the poor men, what if they feel this and what if they feel that, you know. But after a while, I kind of did realise that there's an element of it that's body shaming, and I don't want to do that. So I've kind of tried to avoid it, but it does come. If I get a heckle, I'm sorry, I'm going to say that you're a small dick. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. But that's if you're challenging me, I'm gonna imply. But
They could be conversationalists though, so I mean, they're always plus points.
And look, I'm going to admit straight away here before we even get into the show, there are jokes in it that are going to be like, that are quite like heteronormative or cis-normative, and there are people like I met up with a few of the guests the other day, and I made a joke that could be seen as quite cis, but there were trans people there, non-binary people there that laughed with me, and it's because they know how it's meant. Yeah. You have to kind of like be able to laugh at this stuff. There has to be some room for growth. I can't, like, the reason I'm doing the show is because I want everybody to help me grow, I want to help them grow, and I want everyone to come together and grow together like a fantastic, beautiful tree. And like, I don't see how we're going to do that if we're always correcting each other, we're always stepping on each other, we're always kind of like, because what we're doing, that's exactly what the man wants, you know, like that's what they want for us all to be.
You never used to get jokes of a woman walked into a bar.
Where's the alcoholic women in the group? I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to do so. I'm gonna have to do something with that, because like that's interesting.
It is. I'm
going to steal that from you.
There you go. Good. You can have that one there, Bláithín. Yeah. But tell me now, the important bits. When and where? We said it's Drop Dead twice, and that's in Francis Street.
Drop Dead twice in Francis Street, upstairs. It's from the 11th till the 15th of September. Oh my god, it's the week and a half. 11 to 15 September at 7 p.m. Get your tickets, fringefest.com. You can also get them at the box office there at the Irish Architecture Foundation on the Quays. And you can, there's links on my bio and so on to get the tickets. I would try to get your tickets now. Opening night is near selling out. Opening night is near selling out. Actually, a few of the other nights are doing quite well. So yeah, absolutely. I want everyone to just come together and have a big hug. Yeah. And loads of alcohol.
Yeah. Tell me this now. This Dublin being the small world that it is, we share a common acquaintance, which is Evoke a Reaction. Yes. Who else is going to be on the show?
So Evoke is going to be on talking about identity, along with Philippa Ryder and Ola Makajunmi. I have to learn how to pronounce her name. Sorry, Ola. I will get that. I will. I won't name all the guests, but there's the likes of Repealist and Ellie Kisyombe, Karina Fitzpatrick, Shiva Cassidy. Let's see. There's loads. Sex Shuppa, Caroline West. There's Kate McGrew. We're very very.
Well, the numbers of common acquaintances have just gone up.
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah. I'm sure everyone knows Sex Shuppa. Everybody she's absolutely excellent. She was the first person that I chose. I asked as soon as I got.
Yeah, I saw her show last year.
Kate. I don't know Kate actually.
Yeah, no, she could talk for under wet cement.
I'd say I can't wait to have her on.
And other things as well.
Yeah, I'm really delighted with the lineup that we have. It's going to be absolutely. If I didn't name anyone there, sorry, it's not that there's just so many. Bella Fitzpatrick, Lisa Nick and Brennan, Eve O'Connor. There's so many. Yeah. So it's gonna be absolutely great. I can't wait. I feel very I feel like I've done a good job with the panels and kind of getting representation for as many people as I can, without it kind of being twee.
It's a good tribute to yourself that they all want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it all goes off without any arguments that are too big. You know, and we'll have a nice little party. The idea is party in mind. We'll discuss the world.
Are you going to podcast it? There's a thought, isn't it?
So I don't want to confirm or deny, because the intention is that I get people in to video it. Yeah. And that we make a package, and that because I have a lot of fans in, not to toot my own horn, but toot. I have a lot of fans in America from doing the Try channel, and so they won't be able to get over, and a lot of them helped me out with donations when we were doing the Indiegogo to fundraise for the show. And a lot of them have been really, really supportive, and so I want them to kind of get that. So I might package that, and then for the people that donated big, I might send those over to them, or I might make some kind of album or something like that. Yeah, I definitely I want to document it, and I want it to be hopefully something that can grow.
Well, it's the modern world, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Last but by no means least, Bláithín, once you get the brilliant success of the Fringe out of the way, where are you hoping to go from here in terms of professionally?
I'm so glad you asked. Does time exist after the show? Because I hadn't imagined that it's, to be honest. Like literally every time people ask me to do a gig or something afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, there's actually time after the 15th of September. Because I've just been so focused on it. God. Well, I'll take a little break anyway. I'll take a little break because this has been stressful in a good way. I'm very happy with how it's gone, but it has been, you know, I haven't eaten dinner before midnight in a good few weeks. So, you know, it's been hard work. And I can't wait to have that little break afterwards. And then I'll just go straight back to performing. Hopefully have something to package with the show. I would love, if the show does well, I don't want to jinx it, etc. But if the show goes well, I would really like to make it into something regular. If it goes well, and I mean, I do think it will go well.
Yeah. Final question. Now we know that lead singers get groupies. Do comedians get groupies?
Okay, so I don't know if you know her, Nicole Byer. She's an American comedian, right? And she has a term, and she calls them chuckle fuckers, right? Chuckle fuckers are the women. They're always women that hang around after a man's comedy show, and there's nothing attractive about the man except for the fact that he's been on stage. Yeah. Right, and even then, like, his comedy could be something like, I mean, really self-deprecating or something like that, but for whatever reason, women love to be, I love, like, if a man makes me laugh, oh my God, looks like I won't be needing these clothes anymore, do you know what I mean, like, it's, so, but I get, what does that mean? I get men getting in touch, saying that I'm attractive, but it's because of my work on the Try channel, and it's not, I don't think, I'm gonna say no, groupies wise. No. There's definitely lads that would have been like fans of mine and would follow my trajectory that I've slept with, but that's because they are also comedians. Or, you know, I mean, like, there's no one that has just been at one of my gigs that has come up afterwards, and like, it does sometimes happen that they come up afterwards and they're trying to flirt and they're like, can I buy you a drink and stuff, but they don't get the ride then.
Put a note to finish on. Bláthín de Burca, break a leg. We wish you everything, every success of me.
Thank you so much.
It sounds like it's going to be a great gig.
Cheers, thank you. Oh, Garmagat.
My world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say I am.